Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Well, today's guest really needs no introduction at all. He's a household name. We welcome back to the Moms on a Mission podcast, Dr. Peter McCullough. He is an internist, epidemiologist, and cardiologist practicing in McKinney, Texas. And we asked him to come back to the show to expose the Chinese white lung syndrome propaganda. And he educates us on what is really going on and what we can do to be best prepared for any and all infections. Hi, Dr. McCullough. Thank you so much for joining me again on the Moms on a Mission podcast.
It's so great to be back on with the moms. We need you. We need you now more than ever.
Yes, well, we are committed just like you. I wanted to talk to you about these reports that we're hearing about this mysterious white lung disease, the reports that this disease is targeting children. And what's so concerning to me, I guess, is that we're not really hearing a lot about this from China. And what's even more disturbing is that our very own government isn't really addressing this.
We're supposed to have all this pandemic surveillance and the CDC and they're doing nothing. The WHO is just inquiring in China. Well, this is what we've learned. I found out firsthand from Michelle Schechter, a Brazilian doctor who received one of these patients. Turns out it's Mycoplasma pneumonia. This is a bacterial pneumonia. It's a small bacteria. It gets inside cells. The Chinese version is resistant to azithromycin and macrolide. So we have to use what's called fluoroquinolones in children and then tetracyclines in adults. It's easily treatable. Mycoplasma is a pediatric pneumonia that we have in the United States. My brother's two daughters had it in Texas about 10 or 15 years ago, and they were hospitalized for a day or so. It's not serious, just sometimes need a little oxygen support, nebulizers, treated with antibiotics. It resolves quickly. So no one should worry about the Chinese pneumonia. The reason why the Chinese are struggling, we found out through Dr. Schechter, is that they don't have the multiplex antigen testing that we have here. So they had only tested her patient for flu and COVID. So they didn't have the mycoplasma antigen test. So any hospital in the United States, we would diagnose this within about 20 minutes.
That's incredibly fascinating. I hadn't heard that. I guess my concern was I was seeing all these pictures coming out of China with all these kids packed into the ERs for this pneumonia. And it just reminded me of all the dead bodies we were shown in Italy and just the propaganda that they continue to try to trick us with.
It's so true. Don't forget, China's very crowded. I've been to China 5 times. Their hospital lobbies are always crowded. But when you kind of get that panic, people are wearing masks and they're concerned. The Chinese, by the way, live in a very vertical environment. Almost all the housing is vertical high rises, even in Wuhan. Wuhan's probably got more high rises than most American cities. It's a very vertically oriented. They don't have large housing developments or neighborhoods, so they're not spread out. They're seeing each other in the hallways and the elevators, the stairwells, and it's just crowded. It's a crowded place. Something like mycoplasma could take off. Now, we've heard about some outbreaks in Ohio. It's very easily treatable. I don't want anyone to get worried. I advise the wellness company as a chief scientific officer, and we actually have kits. We have COVID emergency kits as well as medical emergency kits. They actually have the drugs you would need to treat the Chinese pneumonia.
Yeah, I want to talk about that in a minute. I did want to just expose the fact that CBS News.com reported on December 1st that in Warren County, Ohio, they talked about this white lung. And what I found so disturbing is that, again, they are pushing the vaccines. And Dr. Gounder, the contributor, said, quote, while these viruses may not kill children and infants, they do leave these kids more vulnerable to both viral pneumonia as well as bacteria pneumonia that can be prevented through vaccination. And I just can't even believe that they're still trying to push this vaccination propaganda on us.
There's no credible evidence that the vaccines ever stopped COVID pneumonia in children. Remember, the FDA did what's called bridging studies, immunobridging studies. We're well onto boosters. They've never even been tested in humans. They're approved based on animal testing. So we're at the point where I don't think any parent should be fooled. The COVID-19 vaccines, as we know them now, will not stop COVID. They don't stop transmission, and they don't reduce the risk of hospitalization and death.
Yeah, and people really just need to speak and seek the truth, because if you're just listening to mainstream media, they're just full of lies, and that's just the direction they're going to take us down one more time. I wanted to transition to the spike protein. Now, I know that you have developed the first multi-drug treatment protocol for COVID, as well as the first published detoxification protocol. So I think it's commonly understood, at least at this point, that the spike protein is going to remain in the body if you are injected. I think what a lot of people might not understand, Dr. McCullough, is that this spike protein remains in the body even after a viral infection of COVID.
That's true. Bruce Patterson at IncellDX has shown at least the S1 segment of the spike protein in just COVID patients up to 15 months after the infection. That's as long as he's looked. It could be 2 years afterwards. And then after the vaccine, get the S1 and the S2 segment, the full length spike with the vaccine. So you get a lot more spike protein with the vaccine. But I asked Bruce when I had him on my show, I said, Bruce, is there any infection like this that kind of installs its protein in your body for that long? He goes, oh, yeah, there is. He said, Lyme disease, that people get Lyme disease, and there are parts of the organism, Borrelia burgdorferi, that Lyme protein antigens that stay in the body for years. Syphilis stays in the body for decades. So there's actually a lot of examples. SARS-CoV-2, very unnatural infection, the spike protein engineered in the Chinese biosecurity lab. It's in the body until we do something about it. The human enzymes can't break it down. McCullough protocol-based spike protein detoxification involves nattokinase, 2,000 units twice a day, bromelain, 500 milligrams once a day, and curcumin, 500 milligrams twice a day, combined with piperine. This has been now in 2 peer-reviewed manuscripts, one in the Journal of American Physicians and Surgeons, the other one in the PubMed-listed journal Curious. Lays it out for you. Very important. We start at these low doses. We can go up. It's my clinical experience. It takes at least 3 months, sometimes 6 or 9 months. I can't make any therapeutic claims because there are no large trials, but my clinical observation tells me people do improve these neurologic, cardiovascular, other generalized symptoms like fatigue and weight loss, brain fog. They do ultimately resolve after there's detoxification. We use other drugs to help out with symptoms, but we have to handle the spike protein.
Well, you're one of the most published people in the COVID world, and you've published over 70 peer-reviewed publications. And what I really liked was this recent published study with Dr. Holscher and colleagues in the Curious Medical Science Journal last month, in which you demonstrated the efficacy of your McCullough protocol. How long do we need to follow this to eliminate the spike protein for our bodies? Is everybody different? Is there any way to quantify what we've done once we've started this protocol, or do you just kind of go by your feelings?
We simply don't know. I can tell you a minimum of 3 months. I haven't seen any bona fide. I had one patient who thought after 16 days that they were better. But honestly, my brother had the small fiber neuropathy, 4 shots in COVID, and it was about 4 months. I've had some until he resolved. I had a patient who had tremors, palpitations, couldn't get off the bed, ruined her life, ruined her marriage, actually. It's terrible. She walked in at 9 months and said she's better. We've had some of the severe shaking syndromes, not completely resolved, but markedly get better, again, towards 6, 9, or 12 months. We don't know how long we need to go. We're looking forward to the in vitrogen blood test for spike protein. Once we have that on board, we should be able to measure it. The spike protein is in red blood cells attached. It's also in serum and plasma. We'll have to see how the measurements go. Right now, we measure antibodies against the spike protein, which is an indirect measure. And, they're sky high after the vaccine. Typical LabCorp extended range number after the vaccine could be 20,000. After the infection, it's like 400 or 500. So it's night and day. The vaccinated are getting a massive load of spike protein. Whether they feel it or not, they have it in their body.
Well, I think what's so concerning is that when you have COVID, the virus, you have it in your tissues, but then when you get vaccinated, it's piggybacked on top of that and it goes into your cells. And that is what's so damaging and concerning.
It's true. And the autopsy study by Mortz found the spike protein in blood cells in the brain. Ballmeyer's found it in the heart. Spike protein has been identified in red blood cells. I just interviewed Dr. David Scheim, former National Institutes of Health researcher. He's got a recent paper out. It'll be out on my channels here in the next few weeks. Makes a convincing case. It's really all about the spike protein. The nucleocapsid, or the ball of the virus, is pretty innocuous, but it's the spike protein that's the problem. The Japanese did a study where they had a cell culture medium with nattokinase in it, and then they introduced the virus. And the virus could not attack the cells because the nattokinase strips away the spike protein. The ball of the virus is basically impotent.
Oh, wow. That's fascinating. Well, I have been taking the spike support from the wellness company, and I was taking just regular nattokinase, but I've heard you talk about the fact that this has some enzymes, I believe, with the nattokinase that make it a bit more effective. Could you talk about that?
The spike support has been the leading nattokinase product used worldwide. It's the first one we had. We used it extensively. It's the one I've had the most experience with clinically. So it's nattokinase, 2,000 units twice a day, starting dose. Now we can double or even triple that dose. So it's a low dose, but it has 5 minor ingredients, including black sativa extract. There's independently favorable studies in COVID and long COVID with black sativa, Irish sea moss, dandelion extract. Again, there's independently favorable data. These are largely antioxidants. Selenium, which is a really necessary cofactor for the heart. And so all in all, this idea of nattokinase plus some minor ingredients, it really seems to fit the bill for what we need right now. Now, it's all sourced in the United States, which is wonderful. We combine it now with curcumin and bromelain. Nattokinase has this. Now, if there are cardiovascular manifestations, we also use another wellness company product called Heart Support. And that's what I recommend for patients with cardiomyopathy. And that's wonderful. It has in it L-carnitine, again, more selenium, B vitamins, other things that we need for the heart muscle.
What I love about the wellness company, before I even knew that you were the chief scientific officer there, was the fact that they are not going to be surprised this time, and they are making really great plans. So I wanted to transition over to the website, which is twc.health. And so here you can see these. I noticed that they call it the contagion emergency kit because probably they just don't want to get flagged here. But this medical emergency kit and the COVID emergency kit, could you explain what the difference is between the two of them?
Well, also note your promo code is MISSION. This is very
Yes.
important. I noticed that. So everybody listening, if you want a discount, get in there. You can use the link from Moms on a Mission podcast from the website, but also keep in mind, you get to the checkout, make sure you got MISSION in your back pocket. I think everyone will remember that. The purple message, MISSION.
Yes,
Now,
thank you.
the black kit has hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, azithromycin, very importantly, a budesonide nebulizer advice. This is going to get you out of problems with acute COVID-19, Omicron, or any of the other variants. There's the nebulizer device there. So that's well worth it. This is the only really legal way that you can have ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine ahead of time. Doctors are not supposed to prescribe it for stockpiling, and many governments have shut down ways of trying to get this commercially. Now, if we go back to the other kit, if you can go back to the emergency kit, the emergency kit's more broad. The emergency kit has in it really a formulary of antibiotics. Now, this would cover acute bronchitis, the Chinese Mycoplasma Pneumonia. It would cover community-acquired pneumonias, cellulitis, a urinary tract infection, traveler's diarrhea. This can really cover the gamut. Now, there's an instruction booklet with it. There's a telemedicine consultation with each of the products. And these are enormously popular. Now, they're adult kits. People keep 1 or 2 kits at home, have some at work, take it when they travel. People are getting ready to go on ski vacations now. I can tell you, everybody ought to have a wellness company emergency kit before they head to the mountains to ski, because everybody knows when you go skiing and everybody's in the condo, that's when people start getting sick.
Yeah, my son and I, the last time we went skiing, it was at Park City, and we both got incredibly sick, and we didn't even get to ski the whole time there. So you are not kidding. That is very true.
We go every year. We go to Beaver Creek. We're going to leave this Saturday. My wife and I just talked about this. Last year we got sick. We've had it forever. This year we're going to be ready.
Yeah, I think this is a no-brainer. I mean, why would you not have one of these kits, one of both of them for everybody in your family just to have them? Because when you think about it, I was researching and I think the number was like 80% or 75% of our medications. I mean, they might be made in the United States, but we get our ingredients from China. And I was just thinking, if they want to play really, divisively and aggressively here, and they want to mess with our pharmaceutical supply chain, we would be in a world of hurt.
Well, no doubt about it. But plus, not only that, you want them at hand. So let's say you're, in the mountains skiing, and then you sense a urinary tract infection coming on. Well, you take a day off, you go down the mountain, you go to the clinic, you get a sample and this and that. I got to tell you, any one of these urgent cares, you're out of network. We're talking $1,000. It's like $1,000 for a simple urinary tract infection. Everybody knows this. We've all had emergencies skiing and doing other things. These kits are going to save families so much money because you simply can handle it on your own. Listen, if there's any questions, get on the phone. The wellness company doctor will kind of walk you through how to manage these medicines. They are really a lifesaver. And I think it's such a useful part of your podcast to just, tell people about this and share the information. You've got a wonderful way for them to get a discount as well.
That's great. Yeah, with the code MISSION, 10% off. And I just think it's brilliant. And even if this weren't a thing that we were under attack, or our nation, even if it were not under attack, I just think this is good wisdom just from a practical standpoint when you're traveling or when you're home. So I am so grateful that you connect with them. I have read that you can become a member of the wellness company, and you can have a membership which gives you various benefits.
It's true. Now, a lot of the different portals, I bet yours is like mine. You can actually get a free membership if you go on Moms in a Mission. If you can't come over to Courageous Discourse, well, you will just get a free membership. Now, this is important. If the membership is free, then the discounts are huge on the kits, and that you always get a discount on the supplements, everything. Once you're kind of a member, things aflow. You get a newsletter, you get updates, all the health information material. They have a program called One Wellness, which is interesting. I think it's roughly just under $200 a month. With the discounts, it's about $150. One Wellness is unlimited supplements, unlimited telemedicine visits. And, there's some people who are on heart support, spike support. You start adding it up, it's actually better to get One Wellness. And that way you just don't have any cost issues. People do that as a supplemental to their insurance because of the coverage. People who are diabetics are getting frequent blood sugar checks and things like this. And of course, One Wellness is essential for those without healthcare insurance.
Oh,
if people do
absolutely.
not have healthcare insurance, they need a backup, and they can't be trying to, get a membership when they need something in the middle of the night. They really ought to be members of the wellness company and then get into the system right away.
Yeah, we need to go to twc.health/mission. And that link is in the content description below this podcast. I wanted you to speak to, just before we close, I wanted you to speak to what can people do to strengthen their immune systems as we're going into winter?
Well, they should, the best diets possible, high quality sources of protein, fresh fruits and vegetables, limiting sugar, starches, saturated fat, fitness. Get out there and move. After we finish, I'm going to go out there and run and play pickleball, work on your fitness, get some sun exposure for vitamin D. Take vitamin D supplementation, 5 or 10,000 units a day, a good multivitamin once or twice a day. And, do everything we can to get proper amounts of sleep, balance, exercise, your work life, family life, and diet. Those are the best suggestions. I'd also say parenthetically, make sure you have a good virucidal nasal spray or wash. I always travel with this, just an iodine-based spray or xylitol or colloidal silver, and then scope or Listerine. And if you go skiing and you stop at the grocery store, just pick up a bottle of scope anyway. You're going to need it because you get exposed to somebody. The first thing you want to do is you want to gargle. And the nasal sprays and the gargles can be done every 4 hours in that initial phase where you think you're coming down with something. More times than not, you'll shut it off before it becomes a full cold.
Yeah, I just spoke with somebody at work here right before I started speaking with you. And she said, because of you, she does the rinses. And she said, I have not been sick since I heard Dr. McCullough say that. I have not been sick in at least 2 years, which is, I guess for her, that was a really big deal. So, I mean, you truly, wow, Dr. McCullough, are making such a difference, not just in America, but around the world. And I just want to say thank you so much. I know we joked before we started, that you probably don't sleep that much, but I wanted you to share where people can follow you. I know I subscribe to your Courageous Discourse, and I just love the content is just so thorough, and so there's so much of it. And then you also have your podcast, The McCullough Report.
Right.
And then where else can folks, they can go to your website, right, and follow you there?
Right. So my website is kind of the central place. That'll take you everywhere, petermcculloughmd.com. And then it'll take you off to America Out Loud Talk Radio, McCullough Report, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday. Then it's on the Apple iHeart network after that through the week. Courageous Discourse, that's Substack. That's the most popular medical Substack right now. And it's about 1,000 citations there, all the key graphical abstracts. People say, well, what are the studies for nasal sprays? Well, they're there. Where are the studies? What's all the contents of the kits and what can it cover? It's all there. Courageous Discourse, Substack, and my book, couragetofacecovid.com. That's Courage to Face COVID. Probably the best overall rated book in the genre, the COVID genre, because it's written by best-selling author John Leake. It's not written by a boring medical doctor. It's kind of a gripping true crime narrative. It's going to be hopefully a major motion picture. What I've done is I've diversified across a lot of platforms and a lot of channels to have an impact. And I've had more media exposure than anybody out there, including president. And to our most recent presidents, I have more media exposure than they do. And what I've done is I've been consistent. I've been scientifically grounded. I cite the literature. I'm the only doctor they bring on that cites the literature, and I've been correct. This is very important. I've been correct. You can't find a clip where I've misled people on any one of these approaches, and I've never flip-flopped. So I think we have to be ready. We have to be ready for a next pandemic. We have to be, I think, engaged with independent media like your podcast in order to get a broad perspective. We've learned we can't trust the mainstream media, and we can't trust our government agencies to give us the bottom line. We need diverse opinions. And so Moms on a Mission is really gone a long way to bringing that, particularly to your audience, which are other mothers and fathers and people struggling through this.
Yeah. And I think you really hit a key note here. And that is that you base everything on factual data and science, and you back up everything you say. And I just, for fun, before I had you on, I Googled you on Wikipedia. I was reading what they said about you, and it was like misinformation and all these things. And I thought, this physician is the most documented physician in the world, probably. You have cited everything, and it just makes me laugh. And also it makes me angry because I think of the folks who don't go to the bother maybe to really truly find the truth and research. And that's why I love what you're doing. And I do believe you probably don't sleep that much, but I know America and the world is better off for it. And we're so grateful, Dr. McCullough. Thank you for the sacrifices you make. And I'm glad you're going to get to play pickleball tonight and get some good exercise in.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me on the program. Have a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. And thank you all so much for listening. As always, you can email us at moms@momsonamission.net. And then our website is momsonamission.net. And then you can check us out we're on all platforms, but we're banned on YouTube right now. Shockingly, we were sharing a report that was happening in Washington about COVID, and then all of a sudden we got banned from YouTube. But if you follow us on Rumble and just download that app and then type Moms on a Mission at the top and then click the follow icon, we would be so grateful. And thank you all so much for listening, and God bless. In light of recent bank volatility and skyrocketing inflation, diversification is a must. That's why I use my good friend Andrew Sorcini at Beverly Hills Precious Metals. Beverly Hills Precious Metals makes it so easy to diversify. I personally ordered some silver and it arrived on my doorstep just a few days later. They make it so easy. And if you're not ready to do that and you just want to ask a few questions, they're there for you too. I personally got some silver and also am rolling over some of my IRA. You can actually roll over your IRA and have it be backed by silver and gold. So if you don't have any extra money to invest in silver and gold, rolling over a 401k or an IRA, or even part of it, if you just want to try it at first, just for a little bit, you can do that as well. So go to bh-pm.com today and ask all your questions. You can connect with somebody. And like I said, you can just get some information at first if you want and pray about it, and then get back with them to roll over part of your IRA or all of it, or order some gold and silver. That's bh-pm.com. and tell them that Moms on a Mission sent you. Hey, everybody. Did you know that recent research from the CDC says that millions of Americans develop parasitic infections and symptoms often go unnoticed or are misdiagnosed? Parasites are actually the cause of many health problems such as anxiety, depression, chronic pain, fatigue, and unexplained digestive issues. We all need a common sense strategy to improve our health. Moms on a Mission encourages you to reach out to our good friend, Dr. Jason Dean. Dr. Dean's Full Moon Protocol provides all natural detoxification and fights inflammation. And the supplements are made with 100% organic ingredients and are proven to kill parasites safely and effectively. I know after I took Full Moon Protocol, I had more energy. To order your Full Moon Protocol today, go to bravetv.store/mission to save $20 off your first order. That's bravetv.store/mission. According to leading sleep experts and sleephealth.org, over 50 million Americans struggle getting a good night's rest. That's why Moms on a Mission loves MyPillow. MyPillow makes amazing pillows, sheets, mattress toppers, robes, towels, literally almost everything you need for a good night's sleep. They also make dog beds for your dogs. So by going to mypillow.com, typing in the code MISSION, you not only receive a high quality product, but you're supporting Moms on a Mission and this podcast. If you like what you're hearing and you agree with it, you believe in it, and you want to support Moms on a Mission, then go to mypillow.com today and order some high quality products and just type in the code MISSION at checkout and you can save up to 66% off. That's mypillow.com, code MISSION.
Since 2014, Organic Body Essentials has offered clean, simple, certified organic skincare. Our organic face-to-feet and federally compliant hemp and pet products are manufactured under USDA and FDA guidelines. Our products are inspired by God, using plants He created. In Ezekiel 47:12, it says, "The fruit is for food and the leaves for healing." We believe in the power of God to heal, so we pray over our products and for our customers. Our therapy in a bottle approach has been widely received, and our customers' testimonials continue to inspire us. You can find us at organicbodyessentials.com and obe.organicbodyessentials.com. Please feel welcome to reach out with questions. Use coupon code MISSION at checkout for a discount. Thank you for your support by using MISSION at checkout to benefit Moms on a Mission and their quest to reestablish traditional values in our education system and empowerment for a healthy lifestyle.